How you doing, Congressman? I know it's a busy day for you.
I'm doing great. Yes, busy day. In fact, they're about to call votes any second right now.
I know we've got you on a short clock.
Great to be with you.
Yeah, I know we got you on a short clock. Real quick, I've got to ask you this question, and this is not something that you probably had anybody ask you about, but all of this Olympic drama that's continuing to play out on television, has there ever been any discussion among the Republicans about ending our federal government's financial support of the International Olympic Committee? I'm so sick of backing up and turning cartwheels to try and make the communist Chinese and other international powers that have absolutely no one's best interest at heart happy by pretending that they're normal residents and citizens of this planet that should be treated with respect and given access. I don't think the Olympics belongs in China at all.
I could not agree with you more, Austin. It's, to answer your question, there's very, very little talk of that. Most of that talk is just in little private conversations here and there, but there has not been, to my knowledge, any serious discussion about defunding the International Olympic Committee. But you're exactly right. What in the world, why in the world are we participating in the Olympics in China? Here's our greatest enemy imaginable, stealing our intellectual property, interfering with our internet, with our, across the board here. Their aggression around the world militarily, their trafficking, human rights violations. Now they're not taking care of athletes over there who are in quarantine. We can go on and on and on and on. And instead of not funding them, we have, particularly Democrats here, continue to pass one piece of legislation after another that actually helps China while handicapping America. And it just is mind-boggling, the lack of awareness, both from a national security perspective as well as human rights, that the Democrats continue pushing favorable legislation for China.
Unreal. One other little thing that came up today in the news here in Augusta, we've had probably the 25th or 26th major series of bomb threats directed at one particular school or another in our area that all seem to be coming in via the internet. I see a news flash that came in just 5 minutes ago saying that Kamala Harris's husband had to be evacuated from a Washington, D.C. high school also because of an internet-based bomb threat. I'm just curious, has any conversation taken place that you know of at the highest government levels, a way to address the ease with which so many people cause security disruptions with anonymous internet threats? Is there anything that can be done about this?
Well, look, Austin, we all know, and I don't want to just continue rehashing, but we all know that Democrats' posture towards all of this type of stuff, starting over a year ago, was let's begin by defunding the police. Let's go after law enforcement. Let's handicap those who are in positions of protecting us. And that goes across the line, be it police officers on the streets or our national security interests, which we've already discussed, whether it's our southern borders that are wide open. And it certainly, we've seen the attacks on parents who are trying to keep their children safe in schools. So for whatever absent-minded reason, it's across the board an attempt, it seems, to somehow enable criminals to get away with all sorts of nefarious activity while disallowing our law enforcement, in fact, defunding, handicapping law enforcement, and going after, in this case, parents who want their children to be safe. It makes no sense whatsoever in the world, but we're watching all of these things unfold before our eyes and seeing the results of it through skyrocketing crime and a host of other threats, be it bomb threats or whatever, taking place all over the country. We saw last summer, Austin, 542 declared riots across this country.
Yep.
And not a word was said about it.
There's one of them that got a lot of attention, but other than that.
One of them got a lot of attention.
Other than that.
I stand corrected on that one.
Matter of fact, do you know that we've had more arrests out of that one protest than all the other ones combined? Did you know that?
Yeah, and many of these people have never even had a hearing yet. They've not had a day in court. They've been denied an attorney, and some of them are even being held in solitary confinement 23 hours a day. It's like, what country are we living in?
Yeah, let me be clear about that. More have been charged with felonies related to the January 6th riot than all the other felonies of the previous summer combined. That is insane to me. And by the way,
and those others had
multiple deaths.
The others had $2 billion of damage. Over 2,000 law enforcement individuals were injured in that. And like you said, I don't remember the exact number of deaths, but multiple deaths in it all, and they seem to get a pass. Absolutely insane.
A lot of folks that are mulling around the presidential race for 2024 have made the comment that if they are elected, I'm talking about folks on the Republican side, obviously, one of the first things they are going to do is demand that the Department of Homeland Security, working in conjunction with the immigration folks, provide a detailed inventory of every single illegal alien / pending asylum person that has been released into America and where they were dropped off. The Biden administration has jumped through every hoop possible to disguise that information, to hide that information. They don't want the people in Topeka, Kansas to know that they just had 50 immigrants dropped off. They don't want the folks in McKees Rocks, Pennsylvania to know they got 75 yesterday, and they sure as hell don't want the folks in Augusta, Georgia to know that 80 of them are coming Sunday. So is it possible, is it going to be possible, you think, for the Republicans, if they win control of the House or the Senate, and certainly if they get control of the White House, to get a detailed accounting as to where all these bust-in immigrants went? Because they ain't staying at the border. They're being dispatched all over the country.
Yeah, it's a yes and no answer. Yes, in that I don't have any question, but that we will have vigorous oversight and investigations to find out. The no part of the answer comes from we don't know who these people are. We don't know who they are, where they are from. I mean, we've had over 2 million known individuals get into our country this year. We don't have any idea how many have crossed the borders without being apprehended at all. We're talking millions and millions of people, and so obviously there's a no portion to your question because we don't have any idea how many people we're even talking about in this. But hopefully, I feel very confident there will be rigorous oversight. I was talking with someone just today about the oversight when we regain the majority. I've been honored to serve on the Oversight Committee now for 8 years, and it's when we're in the majority, it really serves its purpose of holding our federal government accountable and having genuine oversight. And given the one-party rule that the Democrats have exercised their majority over the past year, I think there's going to be a sense of, I don't know if retaliation is the correct word, but there will certainly be a sense of authentic, robust investigations and oversight that I would anticipate the Republicans would pursue if given back the majority, which I believe they certainly will gain.
I had a conversation with a friend of mine the other day, and I was making a point that he said, you know what, you need to talk to either Congressman Hice or Congressman Allen about that. That's a pretty good point to make. It's just this. Can you imagine, there was not a single thing that I know of when it comes to policy. We're not talking about rude comments or any of that. When it comes to policy, that President Trump did not actively campaign and brag that he was going to try and do once he got elected, and he did it. Think about for 1 minute if President Biden on the campaign trail in 2020 had said, we're gonna allow busloads of illegal immigrants into this country, and I'm going to send them out to metropolitan areas in all 50 states, and you're not going to know where they're going or how many there are. Can you imagine? What did Trump say? Trump said, I'm going to stop them every chance I get. I'm going to prevent them from coming in. I'm going to build a wall. He did exactly that. Did President Biden say anything about immigration? Oh, we're going to fix this. We're going to address this. He hasn't. But in the meantime, he has contributed to one of the largest spreads of illegal immigrants in this country. And by the way, being bussed on the federal dime. It's not like they're sneaking in and going out on their own. We're taking them where they're going. Chauffeur-driven limousine. It's great. Can you imagine what would have happened if President Biden had said he was going to do that?
Yeah, I mean, it's insane, and it's even worse than that. It's what if he had campaigned on We're going to spend $7 trillion. We're going to see inflation go through the roof. We're going to have supply chain issues. We're going to allow Putin to have his way. We're going to destroy our energy independence, shut off the Keystone Pipeline, and give Russia access to supply oil for all of Eastern Europe. I mean, we go on and on and on with all of these things. We're going to continue the mandates. We're going to let COVID run rapid, crime run rapid. We're going to restrict your liberties. I mean, had he run on the actual reality of what his administration has done this past 12 months, not only would he have lost it, I mean, we'd be chasing them all across the world right now with pitchforks, saying, "How dare you even consider such a platform?" And yet they've pursued as radical left-wing policies as anyone could ever have imagined over the last 12 months.
It really is amazing to me. Like I said, everything President Trump did, he advertised he was going to do. He banged his chest he was going to do, and he tried his best.
And he did it.
90% of what Biden has done, none of us would have ever believed that he would be dumb enough to try. And again, the very fact that he, again, has participated in the greatest distribution of illegal aliens in the history of the federal government is unbelievable to me. I mean, he's got them in every corner of this country.
Absolutely. Could not agree with you more.
I know you got to get. I appreciate the 10 minutes, and we appreciate you getting back to the country's business. Thank you so much, Congressman Hice. By the way, I want to mention to you, I know that your time up there is limited because this is the end of your last term. We're going to miss you up there, and I want to thank you from the bottom of our hearts for representing the 10th District so well.
Thank you, Austin. It's very kind of you, and I appreciate it. It's been the honor of my life to represent the 10th District, and you know, we will go on from here to a new chapter, but it has been the honor of my life. Thank you for your kindness.
We'll talk to you again soon. Thank you, Congressman.
All righty.
All right.